The water level in the Gulf of Mexico is a big concern for millions living along the coast. Take a look at this map. There's Sanibel, Captiva, Pine Island, Fort Myers Beach right down there. This shows where the water is right now. Experts predict the water may rise as much as 2 feet. You see how it changed? By 2050, flooding marshes and low-lying areas. And by the end of the century, it could go up by 6 feet. Flooding islands like Sanibel here, Captiva, and sending water into the streets of Cape Coral. Wake News reporter Channing Frampton is live on Captiva Island, where property owners and local leaders are talking about how that sea level rise could pose a threat to all of us. Channing.
We can see the dramatic drop-off in the beach here, the change in elevation. That's due to erosion coming in from the Gulf of Mexico with the waves that come in. And this is all expected to get worse in the years ahead. And people living here say that climate change and sea level rise is partly to blame. And there are a lot of concerns going forward. And I talked with some property owners who say they're pretty worried.
A lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
Remember this? Donald Trump claiming climate change and its effects are made up? Not so, say the people living on Captiva Island.
It's absurd to say, well, let me wait till it's real before I do anything. We have to think ahead.
Mike Mullins owns property on the island, a little on the Gulf, a little on the bay.
Some of the issues that we face may not be 100 years out. They could be 20 years out.
He says rising sea levels are on the minds of many here.
Whatever the outcome is going to be, we don't know. Time will tell. But clearly there's a lot of evidence suggesting we need to be concerned.
This is where the water is right now in the bay behind Captiva Island. By 2050, it's expected to come up about 2 feet, which is halfway up this pylon. By the end of the century, 6 feet, which is over this dock.
And it's not just here. This map from the United States Geological Survey shows how much of the Sunshine State would be flooded if the water comes up 2 meters, or about 6.5 feet.
We're all going to be moving sometime this century.
Dr. Harold Wanless from the University of Miami has been studying the issue for years. He says it's not just those living at the coast who need to pay attention.
So people in Nebraska and Vermont and Gainesville that think it's somebody else's problem, no. It's everybody's problem, and it's going to get serious quickly.
As the coast floods and we look for higher ground in the years ahead. That's why Mike and his neighbors are just trying to get the word out before it's too late.
I think that it's our responsibility to not leave a hole in the water for the future generation.
And the professor I spoke with also said that the predictions being put out by the government may very well be too low at this point. Coming up on Wink News at 6, I'm working on a story with what leaders are doing on these barrier islands to make sure that we're ready should the water come up. Live on Captiva Island, Channing Frampton, Wink News Now.
All right, thank you very much.